ruling this week could send voters back to the polls for a fourth time. The top judges will decide on the legality of a political coalition proposed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former rival Benny Gantz. After finishing neck and neck in the election, they now want a coalition government that would see each man lead the country for one half of a three-year term. Well, let's cross over to Jerusalem now, and I'm joined by Anshel Pfeffer from the Israeli newspaper Haaretz. He's also authored a biography on Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, good evening. Many thanks for joining us on the programme. So the judges are deliberating in this case. Do we have any idea what decision they might come to?
Well, from the comments and the interjections they've made over the 2 days of hearing the petitions against Netanyahu forming a government and against the agreement reached between his party Likud and Blue and White, we can sort of form a rough idea of what the judges are going to say, and it looks as if they won't intervene in the main issues over whether Netanyahu can form a government. It looks like they haven't found a legal basis for preventing him to form a government, and their objections on the coalition agreement are largely minor. They probably will let most of it go through. And if Netanyahu wants, he can probably start swearing in his government in about a week's time.
So Netanyahu does seem to be the winner here, doesn't he? Even though he could still face prosecution.
Well, he is facing prosecution, and his trial is scheduled to begin in less than 3 weeks in another court in Jerusalem, in the district court. And right now, it doesn't seem as he has a way of avoiding his day in court. So he'll be the prime minister, the newly re-elected prime minister. He'll be leading his fifth government. And at the same time, he'll be going into court facing very serious charges of bribery and fraud, which so far he can't avoid.
So he can't avoid it, but his popularity has still surged in the polls, has it not, because of his handling of the pandemic. How do Israelis marry the two?
Well, Israelis are split down the middle. There is almost literally 50% of Israelis saying that whatever is being said of Netanyahu, these allegations in court, are a witch hunt. And there's the other half of the nation is saying Netanyahu is a corrupt prime minister who has to face these allegations in court. Now, that's the reason why Israel just had 3 consecutive elections, because it's almost impossible to reach a majority either supporting him or supporting an alternative to his leadership. Now, the coronavirus crisis, the pandemic, has come at an incredibly fortuitous time for Netanyahu. It's allowed him to present himself as this very successful and efficient leader. And fortunately, Israel has emerged, at least from the first wave of COVID-19, with a relatively low death toll, and the